As COVID-19 cases continue to rise among teenagers, many are now left wondering what can be done to slow down the spread.
Joining us now is our chief health editor, Dr. Nandi. And Dr. Nandi, good afternoon. We know our teenagers often think they're invincible, but they really shouldn't assume they won't become ill or develop a severity in COVID-19.
Good afternoon, Glenda and Alan. Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right, Glenda. While many teens are often asymptomatic or may even have mild symptoms, here's the thing. There are still cases where teens get very sick, and some have unfortunately even died. But most kids are generally healthy, but not everyone is. Here in the U.S., we have an obesity epidemic in our youth population, our kids, and there are teens that also have hypertension, asthma, kidney disease. Now, we know that these are underlying medical conditions that can increase the risk for severe illness from COVID-19, even if you're young. And that's very concerning to me.
That is concerning, Doc. And, we do know that young people don't always think logically, which is scary because if they don't take the steps to prevent getting infected, they can easily spread the virus to others.
And Alan, listen, you and I are both teens, and we didn't all think logically at that time, right? And it's a problem now because when teens don't think that COVID precautions are important, this sort of thinking places families at risk, because when teens get infected, guess what? They can pass it on to older, more vulnerable family members. But I have to say that part of adolescent thinking, as I said in the beginning, can be blamed on a teenager's brain, which takes time to physically mature and fully develop. So for many kids, the ability to fully comprehend consequences often doesn't develop until a teen is much older. And that's part of the issue here.
I was a teen too, Dr. Nandi, and I wanted to be with my friends all the time, and we know they crave their company. So what can we do to keep them safe in those instances?
Listen, as a parent with a teenager in the house, I know how important it is for them to see, their friends, right? She needs to see her friend. But my wife and I are very careful to avoid social events with other teens, not only because it's very difficult for teenagers to follow guidelines that we talked about, but also because I have close family members that are at high risk for developing a severe case of COVID-19 and possibly dying from it. So I know what works for my family may not work for you, but here are a few things that can help keep teens safe. Make sure that teenagers understand how the virus can be spread by people who have no symptoms, right? And just because their friends look healthy or feel healthy doesn't mean they're not infected. Secondly, I also personally recommend online conversations with friends. I think actually my younger kids are out there doing Zoom or FaceTime right now, and they're free programs which allows multiple people on one video call. Also, if they really need to see their friends in person, try to limit to 1 or 2 friends at a time and stress the importance of that 6 feet apart. It's really important. And also have your team wear a mask. Explain how science tells us that masks can help prevent people from transmitting or picking up the virus that gives COVID-19. And lastly, good hygiene, right? Keep your hands and make sure they get washed often. Any coughs or sneezes need to be covered, even if you're 6 feet apart, and sanitize areas that are common. So all these ideas can really help, but we have to know that teenagers are also going to be prone to break these guidelines, and we have to take measures to make sure that they stay protected and your family stays protected. Really important.
Mm-hmm. Even all the little things like yawning, all those things you just have to think twice about when you're around other people.
Yeah, talking forcefully, any of those. Doesn't have to be just coughing or sneezing. Yep, absolutely.
All right, Dr. Nandi, thank you so much. Some important information for sure.